Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is a live morning space for artists, filmmakers, musicians, and creators who are navigating the real world of making art. On this show, we talk about positivity, but not the fluffy kind. We talk about what actually stops artists from moving forward, the struggles we all face, and how to move through them with clarity and purpose. We'll also highlight good things happening in the industry, share ideas, suggestions, and practical advice, and most importantly, have honest conversations. This is a live show, so if you're here, feel free to ask questions or join in. This is a place to reset, get grounded, and start the day moving forward as an artist. And good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well out there. I am back. Took a week off. The family was off for a week. Spring break, they called it, even though we're not in spring, we're still in winter. But the school system, what are you going to say? Now, my wife works in the school system, and so she was home. The kids are homeschooled, so we really don't deal with that system. But she does work there. She's been a teacher for many years, and she loves it. It's fun, and she's there now. So she's back at it after a week off. We had a great week. We went to a couple of places here in Tennessee. We visited some towns, had some really great meals, took some nice drives, had some great conversations, a lot of laughs, and it was really a lot of fun hanging out with the family for the week. I am back now live, and today we're talking about. I'm going to jump right in here. We're talking about uh, I talk a lot about AI here in this on this show, and part of the reasons why I talk about it is because it's all over the place and everybody's talking about it. But I try not to talk about it in a way that's negative. Obviously, I use social media. I use AI. I use it to do things that I can't do as far as production, but not to do any creative things that I can't do. If I come up with it, it's my thing, and then I have it organize it, or if I'm doing research on something like I was talking about last night, if I wanted to talk about, I do a show on Sunday nights. So last night on the show, I was talking like if I'm doing a research, if I'm doing a show on the pyramids, for instance, right? Well, I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll use it almost like an encyclopedia to give me some information, some details on it, and then I'll use that in my show and just to give some facts. And that's kind of how I use it, right? And I think it's a good tool. I think it's a great tool, and I think it's a tool. I don't think it's it's a game changer on some things. Will people lose their jobs? Sure, they will. Of course, they will. It's just like any innovation that comes up, that people are going to lose their jobs. It's happened since the printing press came out, and people were telling stories. Now people are writing them. Now after that, people were on radio. People were upset that people were not going to start buying. We're going to stop buying newspapers now because nobody's going to buy a newspaper when you can just hear the news on the radio. Well, that didn't happen. People still bought newspapers. People are still buying newspapers till this day. Then television came out and radio was like outraged. Well, nobody's going to watch television. They're going to sit in front of a box all day long. Now we carry the boxes in our pockets. So things will change. People will adapt to whatever the technology is, especially if it makes their lives easier. That's really what it's supposed to do. Free us up so we can do other fun things and maybe even more productive things and maybe spend more time with the family and friends. With these phones in our pockets, though, they give you a lot of distractions because they're trying to sell you stuff. That's how they make their money. There are companies out there, all these companies that are running the little boxes that we have in our pockets. They're all trying to make money. So that's their gig. It's all good. But in a time when so many interactions are handled by automated systems, chatbots, and AI-driven menus, genuine human customer service has quietly become more valuable than ever before. And it really has. Our bank here in Tennessee, we used to bank with Chase. Now, Chase is just one big giant monster conglomerate, no care about you. So if you call the bank, if you call Chase right now, anybody, you're absolutely 100% not going to get a human for quite some time. You're going to hit a button. It's going to say, English or Spanish. You're going to hit English or Spanish. Then it's going to ask you how may we help you. an automated thing. Now, this has been going on for years, right? It's been automated for many, many years. If you go to Chase Bank, when I moved here to Tennessee, I was still using Chase Bank, and I always thought, I'd like to change banks, because our bank was kind of far away. The Chase Bank wasn't like that close. And I don't have any memorable experiences with Chase. That's just where the money was for many, many years because there was one close by where I lived in New Jersey, and they're all over the place in New York. But I didn't have any, I wasn't married to them. I didn't care about them. There was nothing personal about them. So I went to another bank very easily without it being a difficult choice. And I found a bank here that a friend of mine had. He said he's been with them for years. And it's called Wilson Bank and Trust. And I called up to get in a bank account. Somebody answered. I'm like, what? Hello? Hi. Hi, yes. Hi. How can I help you? I was like, oh, yeah. I was just going to, I'm thinking about opening an account. Oh, yeah. Well, we're open here. Just come back. Come and see me. Oh, okay. So I walked in and I saw Heather. And Heather was right there in her office and we sat down. I opened up an account. We had a great conversation. Um, I call up, somebody picks up. I asked for Michael. Michael picks up. Heather's there. Heather's there. It's unbelievable. Like I wasn't even really expecting that type of customer service. But when I call that bank here, somebody answers the phone. That's just the way it is. When I call that bank, somebody answers the phone. Of course, they have an automated thing if you want to get other information, if you want to check your bank card, if you want to do all this stuff. But if you call the bank itself, you will get a call, someone answering their phone. And they're not a small bank; they're pretty big. They got a lot of things going on here, But that is the kind of service that they provide, and it was memorable, for me. When someone finally reaches a real person who listens, understands, and actually cares about solving their problem, it stands out in a way it never had to before. And that's for sure. What used to be expected is now memorable. People are starting to recognize that efficiency is great, but empathy is unforgettable. A real conversation, even a short one, can turn a frustrating experience into a loyal relationship. And one of the things that automation is going to be good for is the different options that you can get because not everyone is calling for the same thing, right? So it's like, what if you just want to call and check your balance, right? Nowadays you can go on your app and check your balance. So there's no reason to call. But let's just say for you want to check your balance. So you check your balance. Well, let's say you're not really a phone person and you're not really interested in that and you'd like to just check your balance. Let's say you want to get some details on the hours. Again, you have your phone, it's all in the app. But let's say you don't have a phone, you call up. Well, there's different options that would be useful. But um, if you want to talk to someone in any bank that I know of, you have to go through a few prompts, a few steps before you even get a human being. This is something that I know is fact. This is something that unfortunately is uh is part of the game. You know, is that a bad thing right now for some companies? I don't think it's a bad thing. There's some companies that maybe you don't need to talk to anybody, so it could be useful. But there's always that press zero to speak to a representative. Press zero, right? And sometimes I'll get on a phone with something. I'll press zero as the first step. That is an invalid response. I'm like, why? Why not just make that the first thing so it's I can talk to somebody really quickly? Well, they want you to hear the spiel, because they don't want to waste time because they're trying to save money. They're trying to cut corners. They're trying to automate everything to save time and money. Why? Time and money. It's really money. It's the bottom line. It's really always the bottom line. As companies race towards automation to save time and money, the organizations that invest in strong human customer service are going to separate themselves from the pack. Is that true? To a certain degree, I think it is. Is it going to be with everything? No, unfortunately, AI is going to get so good that you are going to be able to talk to an automated person, and it's going to sound pretty good. It sounds pretty good now. I mean, imagine what's coming down the pipeline where you'll have a conversation with someone and they will actually be able to one for one answer every single question, even have fake empathy, you know, and your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. Well, that's going to become very, very um, easy for them to hear and to duplicate what you're saying, and then to give you the response that's uniquely different than any other person. So let's say, and I've done this. They'll say, "Well, tell us what you're calling about." And if I have a very unique example, I need to change the automated deduction uh, from one card to my savings account. Okay, you said savings account. Is this about savings account? Yes. Would you like to know your balance on the savings? No. No, I'd like to have an automatic withdrawal from savings instead of checking. Can you do that? Okay, you like checking account? Would you like to know your balance in your checking account? And this is the frustration, right? Because it doesn't know. But there's going to come a time when you give it that whole long sentence that it's going to say, okay, so you want to actually transfer this deduction. What do you want to deduct? Well, this account, okay, well, for security purposes, please enter your social security number. Please enter your whatever whatever the thing is, just for security purposes, right? So there's going to be a lot of that as well, where you're going to be able to talk to an actual AI person, and it's going to sound pretty good. It's going to get to that point, folks. So this show is not one where I'm going to be uh delusional, thinking that AI is not going to come in and really change the game. It's made a huge difference in people's lives already. People have lost their jobs because of it, and that is just part of what's coming down the pipeline. But human interaction, human experiences is the new commodity. It is more important now to have a human reaction, a human connection than ever before. And having good customer service is going to be the key factor. I have a new chiropractor recently called Current Chiropractic here in Nashville. They're in the Hermitage area, about 15 minutes from where I live, and they're wonderful. The customer service is the reason. I mean, I want to. Obviously, I've had a lot of good chiropractors in my day, but it's a much bigger selling point for me than how long they've been in business and their extravagant space and all that stuff. Doesn't mean that much to me anymore. Now it's like I want to know what kind of human interaction am I going to have when I'm there, because this is my body I'm taking care of. I have a jacked up back that needs constant attention, and I need to go somewhere where I know that I'll be taken care of, but also I'll leave there feeling not only physically good, but emotionally and spiritually good as well. And so I found these places and the doctors, and I think I've already given some validation to these to both these doctors that were there, because I just had such a great experience with them, And unfortunately, I can only find one of the cards now, but I'll show it real quickly here just to give you an idea of who they are. So anyway, this is the gentleman that's there, and his name is Dr. Beckett McEwen, and he's one of the doctors, and he's not the one that took care of me. The one that took care of me is Doctor. I need to find it because that is ridiculous and embarrassing. Ding 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 ding. All right. Well, I'll get the name because I know her last name was a little bit more complicated, and I wanted to make sure I pronounce it correctly. That's crazy. That's the card that I actually, maybe my wife took it because I know she wanted to go there as well. She might have taken the card actually, now that I think about it. because she's gonna go there as well. Um, anyway, so there you go. Current chiropractor, such good customer service. I really enjoyed my time there. I've been already treated there for a couple of times. I go there back again tomorrow, and just a wonderful experience. So the thing about this AI thing is that anyone can install software, but not everyone can create a culture of respect, patience, and understanding. The businesses that empower their teams to treat customers like people instead of ticket numbers will ultimately win long-term trust. And that is definitely a fact. In a world of scripted responses and automated replies, authenticity becomes a competitive advantage and a true game changer. And that's always for me. Like if I go to a restaurant and the food is great, but the service is bad, you're done. If I go to a restaurant where the food is good, not great, but good, and the service is good, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to want that experience again. And it's always a joy for me to be able to do that. And so that to me is the game changer when a company can do both, have great service and a great product. That is the game changer. And that's what's coming up now. That's really the new commodity. It's the new thing that people are going to be talking about. People are going to be revering a place that has great customer service way more. They're going to be talking about it, and that's always been the case, right? You have somebody who has a bad experience, they tell 10 people, whatever it is. Somebody who has a good experience, they don't really tell anybody. Well, that's going to switch. People are going to start telling people you should go to this, but I've already done it. I've already promoted this place to two, my wife and another buddy of mine, and he's going to go there. So this is why I think it's so important to really understand the if you're working for a place that has a lot of automation. It's important for you to understand the customer service element that's coming down the pipeline, so you can be part of their solution and you can be part of the game changing that they're going to need coming up. So you're not like left behind and say, well, doesn't the automation do that? Well, now humans are going to be doing this. And why? And this is why human interaction will always remain the foundation of sales and success. Technology may open the door, but people close the deal. Trust is built through tone, understanding, and the feeling that someone is actually on your side. No matter how advanced AI becomes, it cannot replace the emotional intelligence that comes from real human connection. As we move forward into an increasingly digital world, the companies and individuals who remember the power of simply treating people well will be the ones who truly, truly, truly stand out. And that's what we're looking at here. We're really looking towards the future of customer service and interaction and human interaction. That's the new commodity. That's what people are really looking for. That's what's going to stand out for any organization and any individual. We're performers. I'm an actor. I'm a filmmaker, musician. So I physically have to do things in order to do the work, right? Even social media marketing that I work in as well. I have to do the work physically, right? I have to go shoot the videos or shoot the verticals or whatever I'm shooting. But it's always me, right? So I'm always interacting with people. I'm always putting my words into sentences that will engage people, right? And that's kind of for me a natural thing now because I've been doing it for so long. um, that's going to be the commodity now. It's going to be that kind of interaction. So for companies and brands, they're bringing in a lot of storytellers now because they need to have a more of a human interaction and a human connection with their brands than before. They've been automating things have been just going along because there were only a few places that you can market, right? You can market on television, social media, recently in the last 15, 20 years. Social media. um, what else you have? Television, newspapers, magazines, right? Radio ads, voiceover ads, YouTube ads. All these things are now ways to market. Well, everybody has the same thing. Whoever has the most money can get the most marketing, right? So if you have $1 million for marketing, you're going to get a lot of inflow in your business, and you're going to make a lot of money. But those that don't, they have to rely on customer service. They have to rely on a really good product, and that's what they do. So this is coming down the pipeline right now, and it's already here. Actually, it's not even coming down; it's here, where companies now are hiring storytellers in order to get more engagement from their audience, and be able to engage with their audiences more by bringing them on journeys. And this is where you're going to see a company like Kellogg's or a company like Nike, where they do these big ads, these big marketing firms that they hire to do these big giant ads. Well, that's going to switch up, and I don't mean the big guys. The big guys have the money, but the smaller brands are going to now have been bringing in social media marketing people that become storytellers and bring people on a journey and create verticals and create engagement and answer their people's questions. And I had an interaction with a consignment, a furniture consignment company that we were looking at. And I sent them a message on one of their social media channels, and they replied back. And they replied back, and I had a little conversation with them. That was an actual person. I can tell it was an actual person, because I asked specific questions that were difficult for an AI to really respond, and they responded. That interaction meant a lot to me, meaning that company I'm going to use again. As a matter of fact, we did use again, and we bought that couch that you see behind me. We bought it there, one of those Ethan Allen fancy couches, and it was great. The customer service was unbelievable. Chris over at Classy Cat Consignment Furniture Consignment down in Franklin, Tennessee, gave us incredible service, took care of us. We got the couch, we got a good price. And not only that, but he delivered it. We were going to pay for a company, and he was like, "Well, I got to be up there. So why don't I just drop it off?" He wouldn't take any. So, am I going to go back to that company? Of course. I'm going to go back there. And I've already recommended them. I gave them a 5-star rating. I gave them a really good rating on social media and on Google, and because it was such a good experience for me. So we will be going back there. So, anyway, I hope this helps. I hope that it gives you a little bit of a balanced understanding that AI is a valuable tool, but having that human interaction is even more valuable, and it's becoming a much more needed commodity for all of us to have. All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you all so much. I love being here in the mornings and spending this morning with you. These conversations are going to be a little bit more casual moving forward, not this week, but next week, where I'm going to be talking about some experiences that I've had in film. I have a project coming up this Thursday that I'm shooting, which is I'm very excited about. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll have more information on that moving forward. And the conversation will be a little bit more laid back, talking about different subjects, and maybe taking some questions and answering some questions that I get along the way. But as of right now, I hope that these talks in the morning become valuable to you as you're moving through your journey as an artist and a creative. And I appreciate it so much. It's definitely an affirmation for me to hear me even reading and talking about these things, and spending this time with you definitely helps me, and I hope it does you as well. All right, friends, thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day out there. God bless you all. See you tomorrow morning, and as always, peace.